Sup flappers, today's topic is about a long lost group of carries in Genshin Impact, specifically the physical damage carries. Now some of you are sure to be watching and also building physical carries of your own. To say physical DPS is weak would be a lie. However, it did feel that they did not have access to the same tools that elemental carries did, with the main culprit being the lack of reactions. Now, with patch 1.5, it seems miHoYo is trying to push physical DPS carries into the spotlight more by overscaling them through artifact set effects. This is an interesting way to approach for a solution and opens up certain units to a huge power up. So let's talk about that and the problems that this solution may run into and why you likely should wait before committing to a new physical DPS of your own. Now, the first thing to look at is the artifact 2 and 4 set effects. The 2 set effect is quite simple. It's the same as the Bloodstain 2 set, being physical damage increased by 25%, but it's the 4 set effect that makes this set more complicated. Looking at this 4 set effect, there are questions as to what counts as a hit. Now, here is an example. With Keqing's elemental skill, you can count it for 1 when you hit the enemy while throwing it out, and then activate it again by using a charge attack, which is exactly what physical Keqing would be doing. Now, in this scenario, did that count as a single attack for the 4-piece effect or 2 stacks? The reason this is crucial is because the effect per stack only lasts for 7 seconds, meaning it would be impossible to get the 3 full stacks if both part of Keqing's elemental skill are not counted, unless all stacks are refreshed as new stacks are added, which does not seem like is how this would work. Furthermore, if this were the case, then a unit like Razor cannot benefit from its 4 set effect, which is an absolute shame because currently most players who are still big fans of physical carries are mostly running Razor as their end game carry. He is an absolute Chad and a beast when it comes to physical damage output, needing a small boost to put him in line with elemental based end game carries. So a part of me really does wish there is a workaround to this 4 set effect and that the 7-second timer will be refreshed with each new stack, because that would open a character like Razor to be viable. Now, another unit that can benefit from this 4 set effect, depending on how it's counted, will be Fischl, because if I read this correctly, when an elemental skill hits an opponent, in Fischl's case, do each of Oz's attack count as a hit, or does only the initial summoning AoE count? Honestly, this is incredibly confusing as it leaves it up to us for interpretation. Fischl herself is an incredibly potent physical DPS carry, almost always run her with 2 Bloodstain and 2 Glad for physical DPS. And if this new artifact set works with each of Oz's attack, then Fischl would also be getting a buff. So now I got you all thinking about the interactions of this 4 set piece. It's also time to point out something about it that is interesting, which is the repeated 2 set effect with Bloodstained Chivalry. While we have 4-star artifacts which shares 2 set effects with 5-star artifacts, such as the Sojourner and the Gladiator 2 set effects, this is the first time we have 5-star artifacts which share 2 set effects. The reason I mention this is mainly because this could be miHoYo introducing new artifact sets which may be more tailored for each character going forward. Now, I cannot talk about Eula's kit in detail as of this moment, but this could be a set that is tailor-made for someone like Eula, just as the 4 set Hardened Depth set fits Child so well. While other units can take advantage of the 2-piece effects, very few can make the 4-piece set work as flawlessly as Child could. Before you all start getting worried about artifact power creeping, that is not what I'm suggesting here, at least not yet. What I am really curious of is how restrictive the conditions to activating the 4 set effect will be. As mentioned previously, if they only work on the initial activations, then essentially this set will be useless to all currently existing physical carries, as all of their elemental skills have CDs, which will cause them to never reach the 3 stacks required to activate the 4 set effect. This worries me slightly because I don't really enjoy the thought of character-specific artifact sets. This should not be the direction we take this. So let's say today you have to stack your elemental skill on enemies 3 times within 7 seconds, and maybe maybe a few patches down the line, you get an artifact that says the 2 set effect increases your pyro damage by 20%, and the 4 set effect being if you are the owner of a funeral parlor and use a spear to attack while being under the age of 20, then the 2 set effect will be doubled. I mean, if it gets to the point where each character has a designated artifact set that works best with them, like how the new Pale Flame set is with Eula, I really can't see the community reacting too well to this. Oh, and by the way, I say this not because I'm leaking the artifact set is for Eula, but simply due to process of elimination. If no one currently can use this set, then it's obviously someone new will be using it. It sure as hell is not going to be the new Pyro Catalyst user, so by process of elimination, it has to be Eula. It will be such a wasted opportunity, because currently, if you have not noticed, all 3 of the physical carries mentioned are of Electro. While units like Kaya can also work, it's almost never worth running Kaya over Razor, and also it's much more difficult to get constellations of Kaya, so in the end we are left with the 3 Electros mentioned. Most players who have played with Electro extensively knows that the element is lacking not really in power, but in reactions. It doesn't work too well with other elements, and the ones it does work with are rather niche or situational, which being Electro Charge and Superconduct. Now, it really isn't doing Electro characters any favors that the alternative to playing with Electro, which as mentioned previously has a fairly lackluster reaction, is to playing with physical damage, which has no reactions whatsoever. A great change in pace with this new artifact 4 set effect can really breathe fresh air upon these units and give them a chance to shine once again. Will this be a solution to the Electro element? Of course not, but it will make one option to playing them more meta and give meta-based players more reasons to pick up these amazing units and showcase them. Because at this point, I think one thing is more clear than anything, and that's the fact that all characters are viable if you are willing to pour the resources into them. But some units can work while putting in 70% of your resources, while other units would require you to put in 120% of your resources just to be of the same effect. No one wants to be playing the game and burning more resources to min-max their units only to end up having them be overshadowed by someone C0 Ganyu with half the resources. Now, I won't touch on the other new artifact set, as it's essentially the same concern with how applicable the 4 set effect is. I would like MiHoYo not to make these sets so restrictive that only few select characters are even capable of activating the 4 set effect, when we do indeed get into territories of character design artifact sets, which honestly I wouldn't be too excited for. But let me know what you all think in the comments below. I am actually very curious on how you all anticipate this set will function versus the currently available options. Do you think it will make that big of a change if characters like Razor can use it, or you think people still wouldn't care? Still, this lessens the gap between physical carries and elemental carries, even if only Eula can use it. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to have me constantly bothering you every day with more Genshin videos. But of course, until tomorrow's video, where I will surely see you all again, stay safe and peace.